If you were to fly over South America, the green canopy below would stretch out in every direction, forming an unbroken ocean of leaves. This massive expanse is roughly 1.6 times the size of India. Beneath that canopy stand an estimated 400 billion individual trees, sheltering 10% of all known species on Earth. We often hear a very specific statistic about this place, that it produces 20% of the world's oxygen, functioning as the lungs of the Earth. Prominent global figures have shared this claim, including the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, and the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, echoed it. This figure is based on a partial understanding of the ecosystem. In reality, the Amazon's net contribution to the oxygen we breathe is effectively zero. Through photosynthesis, the canopy generates massive amounts of oxygen, about 54 petagrams a year, but plants consume roughly 60% of that at night. Microbes on the forest floor eat the rest, zeroing the balance. The Amazon functions as a massive, interconnected 400 billion tree living machine. Our expedition to understand it begins now. Looking down at the dense green rainforest, the massive brown rivers cutting through the landscape appear to be the primary source of water. This jungle functions as a natural water pump, generating its own weather system. Through a process called transpiration, trees pump liquid water from the ground and sweat it out through their leaves, forming floating rivers of invisible vapor. These sky rivers carry about 20 billion tons of water every single day, a volume greater than what the actual Amazon River pours into the ocean. Intense rainfall creates a critical problem for the soil below, as it constantly washes away vital nutrients like phosphorus. To survive, the wettest forest in the world relies on the largest, driest desert on Earth, the Sahara Desert. Fierce winds pick up exactly 27.7 million tons of nutrient-rich dust from the Sahara every year, blowing it over 3,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean to act as fertilizer for the jungle. The Amazon survives because of a delicate, invisible global network of flying rivers and transatlantic dust storms. Below those atmospheric rivers sits the thick, bumpy green roof of the canopy. European explorers long assumed this impenetrable jungle was entirely untouched wilderness. Recently, scientists used LiDAR to scan the forest, digitally stripping away the leaves to map the dirt beneath. They discovered the remains of sprawling ancient pyramids, canals, and road networks hidden right beneath the trees. Up to 10 million people lived in these bustling garden cities, engineering their own nutrient-rich compost called terra preta to sustain large-scale farming in the jungle. These civilizations thrived for centuries without clearing the forest, proving that millions can exist as an integral part of the ecosystem. In the dark, shadowy understory, space and resources are severely limited, creating an intensely competitive environment. Because the forest is so crowded, plants like the sandbox tree resort to extreme measures to spread their seeds. The tree acts like a botanical grenade, building immense pressure inside its pumpkin-shaped fruit until it detonates, firing seeds in all directions at 150 miles per hour. The aggressive tactics of the flora are matched by the behaviors of fungi, particularly the mind-controlling Ophiocordyceps. This fungus hijacks a carpenter ant's brain, forces the insect to bite down on a high leaf, and then sprouts out of its head to drop infectious spores on the colony below. The forest floor is an active chemical warfare zone. Scientists study these fungal behaviors to learn how nature solves problems, looking for clues to develop new human medicines. Why does the destruction of the Amazon threaten the rest of the world? Deforestation and fires are tearing through the region at an alarming rate. The actual threat lies in losing the Amazon's superpower, its function as a massive carbon sink. This diagram tracks carbon dioxide. The forest's trees act as a vacuum, absorbing colossal amounts of atmospheric carbon, locking it into the wood and soil. Burning the forest vents decades of trapped carbon back into the sky, aggressively heating the planet. We are still discovering what else is at risk here. Researchers identify a new species every 2 days, and recently found the Rio Hamza, an underground river flowing beneath the jungle that is wider than the Amazon River itself. The Amazon is the Earth's climate control system, a magnificent ancient machine we have only just begun to understand.